Hey everybody, this is going to be the video for section 10.2, part 2, which is going to be finding area of regular polygons with trig. I will kind of apologize up front if my voice sounds a little weird. I lost it over the weekend and I'm doing the best I can. Alright, so today we are still continuing with that area formula, which is that 1/2 AP. That is not changing. Alright, so it's the same as we did in the last video. Now we're just looking at shapes that are not hexagons, equilateral triangles, or squares. So in our first example here, we are finding the area of the regular heptagon, which remember heptagon is 7 sides, to the nearest tenth. We are given here that our apothem is 5. So one of the things that I'm always going to want to do is kind of just keep track of what my apothem is and what my perimeter is as I'm going. It kind of helps keep everything all together. So I'm going to go ahead and write over here that my apothem has a length of 5. Okay, my perimeter is going to be the number of sides times the side length, just like we did in the last video. And we know that our figure has 7 sides, but we don't know the side length. Okay, so that's where we kind of have to stop for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing in my radius so that I get a triangle here. Now, the first thing that I need to do is find out what degree this is. So remember in the last video in part 1 where we said that our central angle was 360 divided by the number of sides, and then when we drew in our apothem, we did that divided by 2 because those apothems cut that in half. So the shortcut way to kind of think about getting this angle is 360 divided by our number of sides, which in this case is 7, and then we're going to divide that by 2. Okay, it's the same thing as taking 360 and dividing it by 14 if you would rather think of it that way. Like if you double the side lengths because each triangle is getting cut in half by that apothem, you can just do 360 divided by 14, or you do 360 divided by 7 divided by 2. In this case, that degree is 25.71428 ... It continues on, okay? So this is my degree that goes in this angle right here. Now, what I want you to do is in your calculators, put that in your calculator right now. Have that 360 divided by 7, divide that by 2. Have that number in your calculator and hold on to it. Don't clear your calculator, just let it sit there for a minute, okay? So what I need to do is I need to find this side length right here, okay? The way that I do that is I am going to use trig, okay? My apothem here, this is the angle that I know. That's that 360 divided by 7 divided by 2. Okay, this is going to be the adjacent side to that. This x is the opposite side. Okay, one thing that you can also do that I kind of tend to like to do is to draw that particular triangle out separately. And then sometimes it's just a little nicer and a little cleaner. So this angle here is our 25.7 ... angle. Okay, this is our 5 and our x. We have a right angle here, our adjacent and our opposite side. So adjacent and opposite is tangent. So I'm going to take the tangent of that angle, which is 25.714 ... equals my opposite side, which is x, over my adjacent side, which is 5. Okay? To get x by itself, I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. So this is 5 times the tangent of 25.714 ... Okay, now here's why I wanted you to have this in your calculator. If it's not there, pause the video, get it in your calculator right now. That's 360 divided by 7 divided by 2. So in your calculator, you should be looking at this full number. Okay, I want you to hit the tangent button and then multiply that by 5. All right, Or if you have a 2-line calculator, you're going to hit the tangent button, do second answer, and then multiply that by 5, okay? But most of my students, you guys should have that single line calculator where all you have to do is hit the tangent and it'll go ahead and take the tangent of that angle. Here's why we don't want to round. Because this ends up going through so many different spots, right? If you round here, your final answer will change greatly, all right? So please make sure that whenever it is at all possible, you are not rounding until the very, very, very end, all right? If you do have to round somewhere in the middle, and we'll have to do that in a little bit, I want you to leave like 4 to 6 decimal places depending on what the numbers actually are. All right, so please keep in mind that I don't want you to round unless you absolutely have to. So you put this in your calculator, you take the tangent of it, you do times 5. This is going to give you 2.40787 ... okay? Now, this is this piece right here. Well, my side length is double that. So my side length is going to be 2 times that x value. So in your calculator, you're going to keep this number. You are never going to clear anything, okay? You're going to keep this number. You're just going to hit times 2. And then we should get that our side length is 4.8157 ... Okay, again, we're not taking this out of our calculator, okay? I'm just going to stop writing it because it does go on, all right? So when we're looking at our perimeter, now we know our side length is this 4.8157 ... okay? In your calculator, you should be looking at this number. All you're going to hit is times 7, and that will give you that our perimeter is 33.7102, etc. Okay, again, you're going to leave that number in your calculator. Don't take it out. So then we're going to look here at our area formula. Our area is 1/2 AP. So my area is 1/2, my apothem, which is 5, times my perimeter, which is 33.7102 ... okay? So you should still be looking at this full number in your calculator. You're going to hit times 5 divided by 2. Now we're going to round to the nearest tenth and get 84.3 centimeters squared. All right, so again, it is very important that when we are doing these types of problems, that you keep the full number in your calculator for as long as possible. If you don't have to take it out, don't take it out. All right, there's only one case where you cannot leave everything in your calculator, and we'll go through that in a couple of examples. Okay, so again, leave it in your calculator. Don't clear it. Don't hit anything. Don't round it in the middle. Wait until the very, very, very end to actually round your answer. All right, let's do another one. So I have a nonagon with a side length of 6. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw in my apothem and my radius. Okay, if my side length is 6, that means that each of these pieces are 3. Okay, and again, I want to kind of make life a little easier for me, and I'm going to draw out that triangle separately. You have space in the left side of your notes. My suggestion is go ahead and draw that triangle out in the left side of your notes underneath where it says example 2. All right, so the first thing that we need to do, we know that this is 3. I need to find my apothem. Okay? So if I look at this angle here, actually I don't want an orange, sorry. I want to, oh, where did that come from? Okay, I want to have this angle be 360 divided by 9, and then we're going to divide that by 2. So that angle measure is going to be 20 degrees. All right. So now I'm looking at this angle. This is my adjacent side and my opposite side. And again, I'm going to use tangent. Okay, but before I kind of start doing all of that, I want to make sure that I don't have to take whatever numbers that I get over here out of my calculator. So I'm going to start by finding my perimeter, which again is number of sides times the side length. I have 9 sides. Each side has a length of 6. Now, if you're good with this in your head, you don't have to worry about when you do this. Okay, but some people need the calculator for this, which you shouldn't. You should know 9 times 6 is 54. Okay, but my perimeter is 54, and then we need to find the apothem. All right, so let's find that apothem. All right, again, I'm using tangent. So it's going to be the tangent of 20 is equal to my opposite side, which is 3, over my adjacent side, which is A. All right, my variable is in the denominator, so I'm going to be dividing. So A is going to be 3 divided by the tangent of 20. When we put this in our calculators, again, we're going to do 3 divided by, type in the number 20, hit tangent, and then hit your equal sign if you have that single line calculator. If you have a double line calculator, you're going to type it in just like you see it. 3, hit the divided by, hit the tangent symbol, hit 20, close your parentheses, and then hit equals. All right. But again, most of my guys, you should be working with that single line calculator. When I put this in, I'm going to get 8.2424 ... Okay. So that is going to be the length of my apothem. 8.2424. Whoop, 24. Again, do not clear your calculator. Do not take that number out. Leave it in your calculator. All right. Then we can use our 1/2 AP formula. So my area is 1/2 AP. We just found our apothem was that 8.2424. Again, this is the full number, and we're just writing the first 4 digits of it. And our perimeter is 54. Then in your calculator, you're just going to hit times 54 divided by 2. And that's going to give you your exact answer. From there, we can round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so it's 222.5 inches squared. Okay, if you guys have questions on that, please write them down now. It is, so what we saw in the last one was we were given the apothem. What we saw in this one, we were given the side length. So it's important that you recognize when I'm given the apothem, my variable was in the numerator. When I'm given the side length, the variable that I'm looking for is in the denominator. Okay? But both of those we're going to end up using tangent. There is one more case, and that is when we are given the radius. Okay, so in this example, I have an octagon, and I'm given that my radius is 2. Again, I'm going to go ahead and draw in that apothem. And for the ease of labeling everything, I am going to, we'll go this way, redraw my triangle. Okay. Let this be a hint that you never need the picture. All you need to be able to do is draw the triangle. All right. So in this case, my radius is 2. All right. I need to find both the side length and the apothem. Now, here's what we need to do first is we need to find that angle measure. So when I look here, I'm going to be doing 360 divided by 8. Remember, that gives the central angle. And then when I divide that by 2, I'm going to get 22.5 degrees. So this angle right here is 22.5 degrees. Okay? Now, when I look at trying to figure that out, 2 is my hypotenuse. My apothem is my adjacent side. And my x is my opposite side. So let's think about this for a second. I need to find the apothem, and the side length. Okay? The apothem goes directly into the formula. Okay, that's their 1/2 AP. Your side length needs to be used to find the perimeter, and then the perimeter goes in the formula. So what I'm trying to get at here is what we're looking at, this piece, this half of the side length, gets doubled, and then in this case multiplied by 8 for the perimeter. Because we do more with the x that is in this problem, okay, that half a side length, I want to find that second, because that's the one that I'm going to leave in the calculator to be more exact. My apothem I don't use as much, and it's typically smaller, well, it's always smaller, than the perimeter. So if I round the apothem, it makes less of an impact on the final answer than it would if I'd have rounded the side length. So anytime you're given the radius, you need to find the apothem first before you find the side length. All right, so when we're looking at finding the apothem, all right, that is the adjacent side to this angle and the hypotenuse. Okay, adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So I'm going to say that my cosine of 22.5 is equal to my adjacent side, which is my apothem, over my hypotenuse, which is 2. Okay, my apothem is in the numerator, so we're going to multiply both sides by 2. So this will be 2 times the cosine of 22.5 is equal to my apothem. When I put this in the calculator, I'm going to get 1.847759. I'm leaving it this long because there wasn't really a nice place to really round off until this number here, okay? And I want to leave it as long as possible so that I'm not affecting my final answer too much. So I'm going to kind of keep track over here. So my apothem we're going to have as 1.847759. Okay, then we'll look at our perimeter. Perimeter again is number of sides times side length. And I know that I have 8 sides right now, but I don't know what my side length is yet, so I'm going to go ahead and pause on that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is find this x, which is half the side length. So when I'm looking at this 22.5 degree angle, it's the opposite and the hypotenuse, which is sine. So it is going to be the sine of 22.5 is equal to my opposite side, which is x, over my hypotenuse, which is, again, 2. And again, I'm going to multiply 2 times the sine of 22.5 to get my half a side length. So when I put this in my calculator, I'm going to get 0.7653. Now, I'm leaving it longer than this in my calculator. I'm writing it as 4 decimals, but I'm not actually rounding it off to 4. All right, so my side length is 2 of those. So all I'm going to do in my calculator is hit times 2, and I'm going to get 1.5307. Again, don't clear your calculator. Leave it exactly where it is. Because now we're going to take that 1.5307 ... whatever else is there, and we're going to multiply it times 8. And then we're going to leave that number in our calculator, and we're not going to take that number out. So that's going to give me 12.24587 ... Okay, so that is my perimeter right now. So again, I'm going to write my area formula, which is 1/2 AP. And it's going to be 1/2 times our apothem, which is at 1.847759, times my perimeter, which is 12.24587 ... Okay. So in your calculator, you're going to do times, and then you're going to type this in, that 1.847759. All right. And then you're going to divide that by 2. When you put that in your calculator and you round to the nearest tenth, then we get 11.3. And that is going to be centimeters squared. So the most challenging type of these problems is when we are given the radius, because we do have to do trig twice. All right, we've got to do it to find the apothem, and we have to do it to find the side length. So it's really important, again, that you find that apothem length first, and then you find your side length. So apothem first, side length second, because then you're going to multiply your side length by, or your x value by 2 to get the side. You're going to multiply the side by the number of sides to get the perimeter. So that's the more important number to have in your calculators completely accurate. All right, so you have seen so far the 3 different ways that you could be given information about a regular polygon. That's not a special. Given the radius, which we just did, given the apothem, and given the side length. Okay, so please make sure you do look over these last 3 examples to see how they differ, compare and contrast them. And again, we will work with them in class tomorrow. But if you have questions on them, go ahead and write that down now. We have one more thing that we're going to do with area and trig. All right, we are going to find the area of a triangle when we are given 2 sides and the angle in between them. All right, so what I'm going to do for a second is I'm going to show you where this formula comes from. And for a minute, I am going to ignore this right here. Okay, so I know that the base of my triangle here, okay, is B. And I'm going to be looking for the height, all right? Because remember, our area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So let's draw a height in here. Okay? So this is going to be my height. Now, I know that this is going to be a 90-degree angle. If I look here, if I know this angle measure, this A right here, okay, and that's the whole thing, is I'm going to be given the length of B, the length of C, and the measure of angle A. Okay, so if I'm trying to find the height of the triangle, this is the opposite side and the hypotenuse of that right triangle. Opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So to find the height, I'm going to do the sine of angle A is going to be my opposite side, which is H, over my hypotenuse, which is C. Okay? To get H by itself, it's going to be C times the sine of A is going to be my H. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it in for the H over here. So my area is 1/2 times my base times my height, which is C times the sine of A. So our area formula is 1/2 BC sine A. All right. So basically the important thing to know is the letters don't really matter. You just need to understand that it's the 2 sides you're multiplying together and the sine of the angle in between them. All right. So if we're looking here, if I have my area formula is 1/2 BC sine A, and I've also seen this as AB sine C, it can be AC sine B, as long as none of the 3, you have one of each letter over here, okay? They're not in the same spot. So when I look at this, this is going to be my B for my base, this is my C for my height, and this right here is going to be my angle A. All right, so I'm just going to plug in. It's going to be 1/2 16 times 10 times the sine of angle A, which is 34. So you are literally just going to put all of this in your calculator, and this is going to get 44.73 da 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 da. Now, we want to round to the nearest square inch, so it is 45 inches squared. Okay, couple of questions that always come up here. One is, yes, it is always sine. It is never anything else. Because again, just like I just showed you, what that piece right here, this piece right here, what this is doing is this is the height of the triangle. This is 1/2 base times height. So it is always going to be that opposite side over the hypotenuse. So it will always be sine. Okay? And then you just put all of this in the calculator. So the things that you have to watch for, you need to know 2 sides and the angle in between them in order to know, or in order to be able to use this formula. All right? But again, this is just an iteration of 1/2 base times height. All right? If you have any questions on that, please write that down now. And then I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you later.